Third in the division, I'm going to go the Oakland Athletics. Fuck their owner. Who gives a fuck about the Chicago White Sox? I think that's the boldest division you've had. However, we have to start early, right? Because there are so many weeks till the regular season. Me and Derek have to get our predictions out of the way, ready to go, first and center. We're not going to discuss World Series or playoffs or anything like that. We're going to discuss division winners for the time being. So me and Derek are going to go through each division, and we're going to predict the division winner in each division, AL and NL, way before the year even starts. So you guys can give us all the shit, all the smoke, all of the praise, whatever you want to give us in the comments. We're here for it. But Derek, are you ready for this?
Very ready for this. Let's go.
Are you prepared for this, Derek?
No. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right. So we're going to start off. We're going to go division by division. I think that's the only fair point here. I think the division that we both should start off is obviously the division that we're both fans of, which is the Yankees division, which is the AL East. Derek, AL East, who do you have winning the division?
Yankees.
Okay, we're on the same page. On to the next. No, I'm kidding. I mean, look, great. Obviously, we're both fans of the Yankees, so we have a little bit of bias here. However, I would say just based on the off seasons that all the teams had in our division, I think we're still the front runner.
Yes.
Maybe you agree. Maybe you disagree with me at the standings per se. I would have it as Yankees, Boston, Orioles, Toronto, Tampa. I don't know how you see it though, personally.
I see it Yankees, Orioles, Boston, Toronto, Tampa.
So you have the Orioles still in second.
Yeah, I still think that their team is still, even with losing Corbin Burns and losing Santander, I think they still are the number 2 seed.
Okay. Look, no denying, Orioles have a lot of talent, a lot of young talent on that team. So wouldn't doubt it. I just fuck their owner. I mean, they didn't do anything this offseason.
He's a waste of space.
Yeah, he really is, and he's a newly acquired owner.
You would think he would spend money, but as what we said, owners don't like.
I guess not. Right? It takes a certain owner. We're not going to get into the Pittsburgh Pirates, but however, we're going to move on.
Yeah, move on.
Okay, so we're going to go to the AL Central, which last year had not one, not two, but 3 playoff teams. You got the Cleveland Guardians, the Kansas City Royals, the Detroit Tigers, the Twins, and the White Sox. Derek, first, who do you have winning the division? Second, how do you see the division playing out?
That's tough. That division is so tough. It's because, all right, I'm going to go, I think Kansas City's going to win.
Okay.
I think with their young stars on their team and obviously the older veterans on their team, I think they're going to win that division. I think it's going to go that Kansas City, Cleveland, Detroit, and the White Sox.
White Sox.
Twins, White Sox.
Yeah.
The last 2 are just like, they could be mishmash.
I mean, I think we're in a consensus there where the White Sox will be maybe the worst team in MLB history this year. However,
yeah, they should be disbanded. Well.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Wow. Already.
I'm gonna go bold with my division winner this one.
God.
I'm gonna go the Detroit Tigers.
I respect it.
So I do agree with you. Kansas City is a young team. They up and came last year. They had a very good year. They didn't get first. Cleveland got first. But Kansas City is only going to improve. At the same time, I think we got that surprise factor with the Tigers last year where we didn't really expect them to do all that. They got better in the offseason. They signed some key free agency pieces to really piece together their roster. Nothing major, but they went out there and got a few players. Number one being Gleyber Torres, who, look, he may not be a great defensive player because he's not. He's horrific. But he does have a good bat, right? So he's definitely going to add something to that lineup. Not to mention, you do have the best pitcher in the major leagues and the reigning AL Cy Young in Tarik Skubal. So I do think the Tigers are going to win the division. That's going to be my bold pick here. I do think the Kansas City Royals will finish second, still make the playoffs. I think the Cleveland Guardians will finish third, teetering on the playoff line. We can discuss playoffs at another time. And then yeah, Twins, White Sox getting relegated for maybe Manchester United. I who gives a fuck about the Chicago White Sox?
That's
They
so
suck.
fair. That's fair.
I'm glad that we had some,
Disagreements.
differences. Yeah, that's a good sign, at least for the second division that we're going to go into. We're going to go into the last division, the AL, the West. All right, this one's been a weird one over the last few years. You had 2 years ago the Texas Rangers win the World Series, and then last year not even make the playoffs, which is obviously a weird caveat. You have the Houston Astros who have won the division consistently and made the playoffs consistently, including last year. Um, but they have a very different dynamic this year in terms of their team. And then you have the Seattle Mariners, who people expect stuff from every year, but yet somehow they just continue to disappoint. So you have those three teams, and then you have the Oakland Athletics and the Los Angeles Angels. Derek, who do you think is going to win the division? This is a tough one. Who do you think is going to win the division? How do you think the division is going to play out?
Saying this all chest. Seattle.
Okay, big boy on campus over here. All right.
I think this will actually be Seattle's year because how I see it is that Houston only got worse.
Okay.
So how I see it is I see Seattle, Texas, Astros, Athletics, Angels.
Angels is another one in that category where they could be relegated for Arsenal in the English Premier League. Um, so I agree with you there. The Angels in my bracket is last. That's just
Dead last.
I'm gonna disagree with you again.
I like
Right?
it. I like it.
I'm gonna go that they're gonna have a bounce back year. I'm gonna go Texas winning the division here. Right? I think maybe a little bit of World Series hangover, maybe a little bit of injuries, maybe a little bit of both. I think Texas comes out, plays a lot better this year. I think they're going to take the division in the AL West. I think they're a good team. I really do. I think they're scrappy. I think they have a lot of good players. Second, I'm going to go Seattle. I agree with you there, where they're going to beat same thing in the other division where it's Cleveland. They're going to be teetering on the playoffs. This is my big one, and third in the division, I'm going to go the Oakland Athletics. I think. Look, hear me out. Hear me out. They're playing in a minor league
Where's the
stadium.
weed?
They're playing in a minor league stadium this year. Their owner, surprisingly, actually spent money this offseason,
Luis
right?
Severino.
A couple of other places. Look, whether it's the right places to spend money is debatable. We could debate on this for a while. But he did spend money.
Fair. That is
You
fair.
cannot you cannot say that about some other teams.
Yes.
So I'm gonna have them as a excuse me, as a surprise third. Houston fourth, Angels. My bad. Houston fourth. 50 feet of crap. The Los Angeles Angels.
I agree with you with the last one. The fourth, I just don't see the Athletics getting third. That is like a Moneyball fucking. That's like from Moneyball to where they somehow sneak into the fucking playoffs.
Yeah. Look, they can make second.
Oh my gosh.
Look, I admire at least they spent some money this offseason. Like some of the major teams in the sport, like the Baltimore Orioles, the Miami Marlins, the Pittsburgh Pirates, where they have some talent on the team, young talent, they spent nothing. Absolutely nothing. Zero. Right? So I want to give props to where props is due. The Athletics obviously had that spat with their fan base because they're moving out of Oakland and going to Las Vegas, and they're going to be playing in a minor league stadium here. But at the same time, their owner still clearly cares. Right? He's not a douchebag. He moved them to Vegas for a reason.
Business wise.
Yeah, business wise, right? But a lot of people forget that this sport is sports in general are all businesses as well. So I'm gonna give them props. I'm gonna say they're gonna have a nice year. I think their lineup is actually like half decent. They have some good young players, specifically Rooker, who is one of the MVP candidates. So I'm not gonna get ahead of myself. I don't want to hype up the Oakland Athletics too much, but I do think they finished third in the division. That being said, we can move on. NL. NL East, Phillies, Mets, Braves, Nationals, Marlins. Derek, how you feeling on this one? It's a tough one. It is.
I'm gonna go Phillies, Braves, Mets, horse manure, Nationals, 16 coffins,
Hmm.
Marlins.
Okay. Okay. So this is the first division where we're 100% on the same page.
Okay.
100%, right? Phillies, I think, are definitely the best in the division just based on their pitching staff, based on their lineup. I mean,
It's
they have
ridiculous.
some really good players on that team, right? They fell short last year. They got upset against the Mets. So I'm not going to discount the Mets in any way, shape, or form. I do think the Phillies are a better team. I also think the Braves are going to have a bounce back year. Getting Acuna back in itself is huge, just morale wise. Their pitching staff took a little bit of a hit. However, I still think their lineup is leagues ahead of a lot of other teams in this league. So I'm going to go Braves second, Mets third. The caveat on top of the Mets being third, I'm going to say they missed the
I
playoffs.
agree.
So we're on the same page in the AL East. This is not, by the way, maybe it's different for Derek. This is not being me a Mets hater.
No, it's not. I'm not even kidding. It's me not being a mess here.
Fans can be happy. I can be sad. The Mets got Juan Soto, the biggest free agent probably of our lives so far. They didn't do enough in my eyes to make themselves a legitimate contender. Their pitching staff is horrific. You can argue all this shit, David Peterson, Clay Holmes in the two spot. I don't give a shit, right? Those are not good enough names to win a division, let alone a World Series. So I think they made strides in being better. I think they're going to have a lot to do at the deadline and or next offseason to make themselves a contender.
Yes.
That's my point of view.
I 100% agree with that because obviously they got Juan Soto, which is huge. Is what they were mainly focusing on. Then obviously they acquired Holmes, and correct me if didn't they acquire Frankie Montas,
They did. And on top of that, they re-signed Pete Alonso.
and they re-signed Pete Alonso. I feel like that they're going against the Phillies, who have a all-around good team, good lineup, and a great pitching staff, and then the Braves, who have a phenomenal lineup, and then their pitching staff. They lost a couple players, but it's still very good.
Yep.
So it's you have to. The Mets are here. They have to take like two more steps to get past one of the teams at least. In
Yeah.
my
And
eyes.
And look, this is not to doubt that they can make a move at the deadline and completely change our opinions, right? They could trade for a starting pitcher at the deadline, a legitimate ace, and maybe make a run, right? As their team stands right now, me and Derek just don't feel they're at that par.
No.
And I honestly think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
Moving on,
Fuck the Mets.
I'm going to start off this division because you started off all the previous, and I feel bad, Derek. We're going to go to the NL Central. This one is a shit show in itself, right? You got the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Reds, and the Pirates. I'm going to start off by saying the division winner, and I think it's going to be this year clearly the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs, not only in their own division, but in the major leagues, maybe had the best offseason out of any team, right? They acquired Kyle Tucker from the Houston Astros, one of the best outfielders in the game. In the game, everybody, right? They got healthier in their infield when it comes to Nico Horner and Dansby Swanson, right? They got some more pitching in their lineup. I mean, this is a very good team who went out there and did a lot of stuff in this offseason to make themselves better. I see them as the one in the division. I'm going to put the Brewers as two. Same thing as a lot of all these teams teetering on a playoff spot. I'm going to put, don't hate me, I'm going to put the Pittsburgh Pirates as three. This has all of the makings of a Pirates team that gets scrappy, during the year. They're not good in any way, shape, or form. They have two good players on this team. Let's be real. They have Paul Skeens and they have Brian Reynolds. They have two good players. Two. Two. Two good players. Two. Two. The rest of the team is mediocre at best. I just think they're going to be scrappy, especially when you look at the other two teams that I'm putting them over, the Cardinals, who got worse and who suck, and the Cincinnati Reds, who didn't do anything and still suck. So I'm going to go my final Cubs, Brewers, Pirates. 4 and 5 is tough. I'm going to go Cardinals, Reds. How about that?
Okay, let me process. All right, I'm gonna start. We had the same division winner. I had the Cubs winning because obviously they had a phenomenal offseason. Great job to them. Good for their farm. Even though they lost Bellinger, they still improved in other spots. Okay, number 2 is Milwaukee.
Yep. I'm glad we're in agreement on that.
Number 3 is crazy to say. I'm gonna say the Reds.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna say a pile of shit, as in the Pirates, and then the Cardinals, because the Cardinals might be the worst team, might be worse than the White Sox. But I don't see the Pirates going 3 ever.
May I add some context to my 3?
Sure.
I don't see them even coming close to the playoffs.
Okay. Fair.
I think it's a clear 1-2 in that division, and then 50 feet of crap. And then you can choose your bottom 3, if that makes it any better.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That makes it a little better.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my god. Oh, that division's so bad. Even speaking about it hurts.
We're going to go to the last division. Derek, it's going to go back on you. This is the NL West. This is probably maybe the most competitive division in the major leagues. You have the Dodgers, the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Giants, and then do we even want to mention the Rockies? We may just hold them out.
They're held out.
Okay, we're gonna hold them out of this division. They're in their own division.
They're auto 5.
Yeah. They're auto 5 for a lot of different reasons that we're not going to get into right now. But this division, how you feeling, Dart?
1. Dodgers.
You can say it. Yep,
Dodgers.
you can say it.
Let's just say if the Dodgers don't win the division, they lost the season.
Or their plane crashed on the way to an East Coast game.
Yeah. That yeah. I'm gonna go to the next team. I'm gonna go bold. I'd say I'm gonna go Padres. Then San Francisco.
Then Diamondbacks, you have 4.
Yeah.
Wow. I think that's the boldest division you've had.
I know. I went bold in this division because I'm mainly focusing on number 1. They're gonna win it by a landslide, but I really do think that the Padres is gonna have a really good year this year.
Okay.
I think Tatis will go back to his actual form.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Look. Do I disagree with you? Yes. So I'm going to start off by saying I do think this division will be a 3 playoffs team division.
Agreed.
Right? I think they're that good. He has the Giants in that 3rd team. I'm going to have the Diamondbacks. However, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I think the Dodgers do get 1. I don't think that's any debate. I really don't. Unless they have some major injuries or unless... No, there is no other unless. Unless they have major injuries, they're going to get 1.
Unless Shohei Ohtani loses both of his legs.
Yeah, I mean, even then, they could still...
Yeah, they have...
Ohtani could die tomorrow, and they'll still have the best team in the major league. So, I'm going to choose the Dodgers 1. I think that's a unanimous decision across all baseball fandom. I'm going to go Diamondbacks 2. I think they had a very good offseason, mainly getting Corbin Burns. That really bolsters their pitching staff, along with Gallen as a 1-2 punch that may be best in the league, one of the best in the league, which is awesome to see. Their lineup didn't get a lot better, so that's one of their major caveats. Yeah, that's one of their major caveats. Their lineup really didn't get a lot better. Honestly, their lineup maybe even got a little bit worse. So they're going to have to do some moves at the deadline. I'm still going to have them at the 2. I'm going to have the Padres at the 3. They're going to make my playoffs as well at the 3. Same thing with a lot of teams teetering at that wild card spot. I'm going to have the San Francisco Giants 4, and then I'm going to have the Colorado Rockies as my Osama bin Laden team
Yeah.
of the Major League
Yes.
Baseball
Yes.
League. So, um, that's how it's going to go. Derek, we're not going to get into playoffs. We're not going to get into any of those predictions yet. It's a little early. I do want to ask you, AL, NL, who are your 2 worst teams this year?
NL, I think Cardinals, the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay,
I don't see
that's fair.
anyone more awful than them. And then AL is the White Sox.
Okay.
Has to be the White Sox. I see them actually breaking the record for least wins in a single season.
Yeah, I mean that's from a perspective. They went 41 and 121 last year.
Yeah.
Um, thankfully, I'm going different than you in both leagues. AL, I'm going the Angels. I think Trout. Let's just say he breaks his leg week 2. It wouldn't be surprising in the slightest. He
No.
falls off. He falls off a trampoline. Let's just say that.
He's feeding his
So
dog, falls down a flight of stairs.
yeah, exactly. So the Angels are consistently sending out their single A players for the rest of the year. They get relegated, and we get let's see, the Wolverhampton Wolves coming into the league next year for the Angels. So I'm going to look forward to that. Welcome to the league. My NL, I saw absolutely no improvement from this team, and I don't see any way, shape, or form that they will improve in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to go the Colorado Rockies. I think they are a garbage franchise. Franchise. I'm actually going after them personally now. I think you're a garbage franchise. You're a garbage owner. You signed nobody this offseason. Your team is garbage. Me and Derek could go out there and try out for the team and maybe make it for first base. They are abysmal in every way, shape, and form. I think they should actually be executed, electrocution style.
Yes.
So I'm going to go the Colorado Rockies, followed closely by the Miami Marlins.
That's fair.
But yeah, I'm very glad we went through these predictions. I know for a lot of people these are very early predictions, so we may pivot halfway through the year when it comes trade deadline season or after we see a month or 2 of baseball. But I think it's nice for the people to see where our minds are at. Wouldn't you agree, Derek?
I 100% agree. And
Fantastic.
but overall, the MLB season is back. It's
Yes.
happiness.
Yes.
I think you and me both growing up watching baseball, that was our sport with the
Yep.
Yankees in the pretty much prime time. It was
Mm.
prime time Yankees. Happy now. the sadness. I don't even want to talk about it anymore.